Hi guys, my name is Kuljit Singh. Welcome to my channel, and today we are going to talk about RNNs, LSTMs and GRUs. So let's dive right into it. And here we are seeing a picture of the model of RNN. So what do we mean by this picture? These are the recurrent units we have here. These all are the recurrent units, and these are the activations or hidden units, as we call, as the literature calls it. And these are the input sequences x1, x2, x3 up till xtx. Xtx is the length of the input sequence, and up above this we have predictions y hat 1, y hat 2 for each example, right, up till ty. And in this particular example we have tx equal to ty, like in the case of examples where we need to identify person's name and so on, right? So here we also have weight matrices wax, wya, which are used to compute. Here wx is used to compute ax, uh, actually activation function, and here this is also used to compute activation function or a hidden unit, and this used to compute the prediction. So now coming to the weight matrices, we have WAA, WAX and WYA, and let's go over these equations. Now here we can see that these WAA, WYA, we are not seeing them here. These are the slightly simplified version of those equations right here, and I will explain these. Like, this is the weight matrix that is used to calculate this activation value at t time step. This is the time step value. I didn't describe it here. These are the time steps: time step 1, time step 2, 3, 4 up till ty. Okay, so we have these weight matrices WA, which is used to compute activation value at time step t. This operation right here is the concatenation operation. As we can see here, just take the value from the previous time step of the activation function or the hidden unit and just stack on top of each other, like this input sequence x. So this is the operation, and then do a matrix multiplication here between the weight matrix and this value, and then just add the bias. Bias is also, we have written subscript here a, which means that this bias is for used to convert calculate this activation, this value, right, this activation value. And here we are calculating by with the help, we are calculating this prediction value with the by. So let's go ahead. Now what are grus? Grus are slightly modified or advanced versions of the normal RNNs. Gated recurrent units also aims to solve the vanishing gradient problem and the exploding gradient problem. As we can see here in this image, we have a lot of units, right, recurrent units, normal simple units of recurrent neural network. So when we are computing the gradients of the for this network for while back propagation through time, then we can see here a lot of multiplication will be occurring here. So the loss values from this recurrent unit will not be able to transform till this unit. As we can see that floating point number when multiplied with another floating point number will result in a smaller floating point number. So that's the problem of vanishing gradients, and this gated recurrent unit solves this with help of a lot of gated operations. As we can see in this picture, I will define all of these operations one by one, first starting off with the candidate value or candidate cell. This is same as in the previous network, as we can see in here. Like, this is the value I am talking about, a of t, or the hidden unit cell. Talking about the notations here, we can see this is the candidate value, I will describe it here. This is the memory cell. This line, as we can see here from left to right, this is the memory which maintains the memory from previous words of the sentences and carries it over to the front of the sentence, right? So this is the memory cell C of t, and this is the candidate value by which the memory cell will be updated. And these are the two gates. This is the update gate and this is the relevance gate, and these are the tanh functions to introduce non-linearity in our model, sigma function, and this is the weight matrix for update gate, relevance gate, and candidate value. And now we will talk about this equation. What this equation says is that relevance gate tells, first of all let's talk about the gates. Gates are just like masks, like bit masks, as we do in CS. Here we can see this is the relevance gate here, and relevance gate is multiplied with this value, previous memory cell value. Now let's talk about LSTM, or long short term memory. LSTM is kind of same as GRUs or gated recurrent units, but they differ in first of all in the number of gates. In LSTM we have 3 gates, and in GRUs we have 2 gates. And computation wise, LSTM are more computationally expensive than GRUs, as we are calculating a lot of values here. And the big difference in between GRU and LSTM is that the LSTM maintains memory for a long period of time. So as we can see here, LSTM is a lot more complex than GRU. And now let's talk about these equations here. These 3 equations are, first of all, this is the update gate, forget gate, and output gate. And these 3 equations are a lot similar than the previous ones that we saw in GRU. And this is the tanh function, and then these are the matrices for weight matrices, and this is the memory cell C of t and A of t over the hidden unit. I think these equations are pretty much clear, and I'm not gonna go over it because they are a lot similar to the previous ones, and we need to keep this video short. So let's just dive right into the project that we have made. And this is the project that I've made on TensorFlow, and this is sentiment analysis with RNN. We have a data set of movie reviews, and we need to predict that the movie review that we have given is a positive or negative review. So let's get started. First of all, we will be importing all the necessary libraries like matplotlib and TensorFlow as expected. And this is just a utility function to plot graphs, and then we will be using the TensorFlow datasets to download the IMDb reviews. And then we are just unrolling train and test datasets into our variables, and then we are just outputting the shape and specifications, right? And this is the example that we have taken from that. This was an absolutely terrible movie, and the label is 0, which means all the negative reviews are in label 0, right? So this is the buffer size I have given 10,000 and batch size 64. Buffer size means the size which our algorithm will pick while shuffling, right? Here we are shuffling the data, and after that we are doing this auto tuning to avoid any IO bottleneck. So this line will avoid any type of IO bottleneck, and this cache function keeps the data in memory even after it's loaded off the disk, right? So we have taken an example just to verify this. We have labels positive and 1 for negative review, and we have vocabulary size of 1000 words we have taken here. And we are defining the vocabulary size, which is 1000, and then we are creating a text vectorization layer this which is called as encoder. Encoder does three things. First of all, it standardizes the data, then tokenizes it, and then vectorizes all the data that we have, vectorizes all the tokens given by the tokenization layer. Okay, so after that, after these three steps, this will give us all the vectorized, like all the indices for the particular word. And here we are getting all get vocabulary by, we are getting all the words, like first 20 words. As we can see here, this is the unknown value, and these are all the words. Now we are defining a single layer as single LSTM layer model. And first of all, we have the encoder. We are using the sequential API of the TensorFlow, and we have encoder, which will give us the all the vectorized tokens here. And then we have the embedding layer. We will just simply compile the model with loss, binary cross entropy, and then optimizer Adam, and metrics we will choose accuracy. And then we will just fit the model with the training dataset epochs 10, and then validation dataset as test dataset. This will run, and we got 87% accuracy, and then we will evaluate on the test dataset, and here we got just mere less 86%. And then we are just plotting our data that we have, that plotting the history that we got from this model.fict function. As we can see, accuracy is increasing with the number of epochs and loss is decreasing, right? So now we can also stack one or two LSTM layers, as we can see here. And now we have the same encoder function, encoder layer, text vectorization layer, and then embedding, passing the length of the vocabulary here, which we have 1000. 64 will be the number of units, and mask 0 just for the padding purposes. And then bidirectional RNN with 64 units. Now this return sequence true means that this will return y hat or the prediction after each example or time step. So we will be getting prediction after each time step. And then we have another LSTM layer of 32 size, 32 units, and then 64 units of dense layer, and then a dropout layer. This dropout layer is a layer with some units, and then these units are being dropped or neglected by this following probability of 0.5 on each epoch. Like in first epoch, 50% of the nodes will be neglected or rejected, and then in next epoch another 50% nodes will be neglected or rejected. And then after we have one node for our binary classification task. Now we will combine the compile the model just as same as above. This is also same as above. After the accuracy we got 87% or on our train data set, and then on test data set when we evaluated we got 87%. And then we will be plotting our accuracy graph or the history. Let me know down in the comment section what do you guys want to see next. And that's all we have for today. Peace.